What if I told you that the most unbelievable superpowers don't belong to comic book heroes, but to creatures quietly living among us right now? We humans imagine flying, invisibility, explosive energy, and impossible speed as things of fantasy. But nature has already perfected them, hidden inside animals that most of us overlook every single day. And here's the strange part. These powers aren't just random tricks, they're survival tools, sharpened by millions of years of evolution. While we dream of superheroes on movie screens, real animals are already bending the laws of physics, defying death, and wielding abilities that make human inventions look like toys. Today, we're diving into the real-world Avengers of the animal kingdom. Creatures whose powers are so extraordinary, you'll question whether humans are truly at the top of evolution, or just one species among many. The basilisk lizard. Let's begin with a lizard that makes the impossible look effortless. The basilisk lizard, often nicknamed the Jesus lizard, has the astonishing ability to sprint across the surface of rivers and lakes. How does it do this? Its oversized hind feet slap down on the water so rapidly that they trap little pockets of air, creating just enough lift to keep the lizard afloat as it dashes to safety. Scientists studied the physics and calculated that if a human wanted to replicate this trick, they'd have to sprint at nearly 65 miles per hour while generating enormous downward force with every step. In other words, impossible for us, but routine for a reptile no bigger than your arm. In the wild, this ability isn't for showing off. It's survival. When predators chase, the basilisk doesn't waste a second. It simply runs across the river, leaving danger behind. A real-life escape artist, proving that sometimes nature cheats gravity. But if running on water sounds unbelievable, wait until you meet a creature whose weapon is so powerful it creates miniature explosions. The pistol shrimp. This tiny crustacean is no bigger than your finger, but it wields one of the deadliest weapons in the ocean. The pistol shrimp, also called the snapping shrimp, has an oversized claw that doesn't just pinch, it fires. With a rapid snap, the claw creates a bubble that collapses with incredible force. The shockwave stuns or kills prey instantly, and the implosion generates temperatures close to the surface of the sun, over 4,700 degrees Celsius. The snap is so loud it can disrupt sonar equipment and even break glass in aquariums. Imagine a shrimp with the destructive ability of a grenade launcher, packed into 2 inches of shell and claw. In a world where humans invented firearms, this shrimp evolved one naturally, a living weapon system hiding at the bottom of the sea. But while the pistol shrimp wins battles with raw firepower, another ocean creature takes a different route: invisibility. The cuttlefish. You've heard of superheroes who can vanish, but the cuttlefish takes camouflage to a level that puts human technology to shame. This relative of the squid and octopus can alter its skin color, pattern, and even texture in an instant. Millions of tiny pigment cells called chromatophores expand and contract, while light-reflecting structures bend wavelengths to create dazzling displays. One moment, a cuttlefish looks like sand. The next, it's glowing like a neon sign. It can mimic rocks, seaweed, or even other animals, all within seconds. Military scientists have studied cuttlefish and their relatives to design next-generation stealth camouflage. Imagine a soldier's uniform that shifts patterns to match the environment in real time. For the cuttlefish, that's just another Tuesday on the seafloor. But if invisibility helps avoid danger, another creature takes survival to an entirely new level: immortality. The immortal jellyfish. Most animals like us are born, age, and die. But the immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dohrnii, refuses to accept that rule. When faced with injury, starvation, or aging, this jellyfish performs a cellular reset. It transforms its adult cells back into a younger polyp state, essentially reversing its life cycle. It's as if a human, facing old age, could simply decide to become a child again, over and over. Biologists call it biological immortality. While it can still be eaten or destroyed, in theory it could live forever by constantly renewing itself. Scientists study this species in hopes of uncovering secrets about aging and regeneration. But while the jellyfish cheats death, another creature takes survival into space itself. The tardigrade. Tardigrades are microscopic animals, smaller than a grain of sand, but don't let their size fool you. They're the toughest creatures on Earth. Freeze them to absolute zero and they'll survive. Heat them above boiling and they'll endure. Blast them with radiation, crush them under extreme pressure, even throw them into the vacuum of space and they'll still come back. They achieve this by drying out into a state called cryptobiosis, where their metabolism nearly stops. They become little biological time capsules, waiting until conditions improve. In 2007, tardigrades were sent into orbit and exposed to the deadly environment of space. They survived the journey and rehydrated back on Earth as if nothing had happened. While we humans need spacesuits and technology to survive, tardigrades shrug at the vacuum of space. But toughness isn't everything. Some creatures win not by surviving, but by striking with impossible force. The mantis shrimp. Colorful and almost cartoonish, mantis shrimp look harmless until you see their punch. These animals strike with claws that accelerate as fast as a bullet, delivering blows strong enough to break aquarium glass. The strike is so fast that the water around the claw boils, creating shockwaves called cavitation bubbles. The collapse of those bubbles adds a second strike, doubling the destruction. It's like hitting something with a hammer and a sonic boom at the same time. Divers call them thumb splitters, and for good reason. They're feared even in controlled environments. But beyond brute force, the mantis shrimp has another hidden superpower: vision. They see the world in ultraviolet, polarized light, and more color channels than the human eye could ever imagine. In a sense, they live in a visual universe invisible to us. But while mantis shrimp break glass, another creature can literally cut through bone. The electric eel. What if your body could generate electricity strong enough to knock out a horse? For the electric eel, that's everyday life. This South American predator can unleash electric shocks of up to 600 volts, enough to paralyze prey instantly. Specialized cells called electrocytes act like biological batteries, stacking charges until they can be released in a devastating pulse. Fishermen tell stories of horses collapsing after stepping into waters with electric eels. Scientists study their bioelectricity to design new power sources and even medical devices. A creature with a built-in taser roaming the rivers of the Amazon. But electricity isn't the only superpower. Some animals can literally regenerate themselves after injury. The axolotl. If Wolverine were real, he'd look a lot like the axolotl. This strange amphibian, often called the walking fish, has an ability humans can only dream of. It can regrow entire body parts. Lose a limb? It comes back. Damage the spinal cord? It heals. Even parts of the brain and heart can regenerate, and the regrown parts aren't scarred or weaker. They're perfect replicas. Researchers are studying axolotls in hopes of applying their regenerative secrets to human medicine. Imagine a future where amputees regrow limbs, or spinal injuries become reversible. For the axolotl, that future already exists. But some animals don't just heal themselves. They weaponize poison in ways deadlier than any comic book villain. The poison dart frog. Bright, colorful, and tiny, poison dart frogs look harmless. But their skin secretes toxins so powerful that a single frog can kill 10 grown men. Indigenous tribes once coated the tips of their hunting darts with the poison. The frog itself doesn't suffer from the toxin. Scientists believe they develop it from eating certain insects. Imagine a creature so dangerous that touching it with bare skin could be fatal. In the animal kingdom, sometimes beauty is a warning sign. The bombardier beetle. It's no dragon, but it comes close. The bombardier beetle can eject a boiling chemical spray from its abdomen, blasting enemies with a toxic jet that reaches nearly 100 degrees Celsius. The spray comes out with an audible pop, like a tiny gunshot, scalding predators instantly. It's like carrying a built-in flamethrower packed into a body no bigger than a fingernail. So, what do we make of this? Lizards that run across rivers, shrimps that create explosions, creatures that camouflage like magic, cheat death, or survive in outer space. Animals that punch harder than bullets, generate electricity, or breathe fire. When you look closely, you realize something. Evolution has already given the natural world a superhero team more impressive than anything humans have invented. And here's the thought that lingers. If these powers exist right now, hidden in forests, rivers, and oceans, what else might be waiting to be discovered? What abilities are still out there in creatures we've barely studied that could completely rewrite what we think is possible? If this fascinates you, my ebook Hidden Truths explores other stories just like this. Secrets of nature, history, and science that sound impossible but are absolutely real. You'll find the link below. But here's the final question I'll leave you with. When humans dream of superheroes, are we really imagining the future or just copying what nature has already created?